Hey guys, welcome to another installment of Limpsync tips and tricks video tutorials. Today we're going to talk about something really important, and it may be my most important video tutorial so far, and it's going to be audio effects. Yeah, we're going to talk today about audio effects. I was talking to a friend in public comments earlier today about different effects, and I thought, we might be due for an update on video tutorial tips and tricks. So if you want to see some of my other TNT tips and tricks tutorials, they're online, and you can just find them under bit.ly/L-TNT. I don't get paid for any of this, and I'm not affiliated with Smule in any way, shape, or form. It's just something that I do to help you guys. Okay, so without further ado, let's go through the different audio effects. I really want to, the point of this video is to help you guys achieve your goals, which should be just sounding better and also having more fun. I think, the reality is when we sound better, people want to listen to us, they engage with us more, we get positive feedback, and it's just all around a better experience. It's better for your listeners, and it ends up being better for you as well. So, as you know, Super Studio offers, Smule offers a variety of different effects, one of which is Super Studio, but anything ranging from none, okay, through Magic to Studio to Hype to Polish to Popstar, Super Pop, Super Studio, Indie, SF Opera, Spotlight, Double, Stardust, and Grunge. So we're going to go through all of those today. I only have about 8 minutes left in this 10-minute video, which is the max length, and it's going to go pretty fast. So let's go through some of these, and I'm going to try to bring up different points along the way and different insights that I think will really help you. Okay, so first, let's just start with none. Okay, none is really never appropriate. Now, what do I mean when I say none? That's actually the name for the effect, none, and that just means you're adding no effect to your singing. Now, that's okay for competitions and auditions when they require it, but I want you to always keep in mind, and there's a lot of singers out there who even in the regular singing will be like, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to alter my voice. It's basically what they're saying is it's fake. I would try to encourage you not to think of it that way. There's really no shame in the game of trying to polish or refine your audio settings. It's really, when you think about it, it's what professional singers worldwide have always done. Every professional singer has their own studio or through the label, etc. And there's an audio engineer who gets paid good money and works their ass off, and it's their entire life studying journals and going on blogs and forums to know everything about all the different settings. So they spend tons of hours on, the labels on trying to have their engineers output the absolute best audio for their singers. So there's no shame in this game of we have just a smattering of audio effects, so why not take advantage of them? All right, so none is really never helpful. It adds nothing, and it makes your voice sound really raw and naked, and kind of like the way you would sing to your cat or something. But people have to listen to you. All right, so Magic is another one. So I'm just going from left to right. I have a VIP account, and as you guys know, there's different offerings available, different audio effects available based on whether you're a free user or a VIP user. Okay, Magic is another one that I think I've used once in my life, and I think it works okay on like Feel Good ink, but that's pretty much it. Studio is a popular one. Now, there's Studio. People confuse Studio and Super Studio, and Studio is kind of like the way you would sound in an area that has like a lot of reverb, like a room where there's a lot of echo, and everything is sort of enhanced. So it's more of a full sound, okay? But it's a little bit muddy, especially if you don't dial down the volume. Now, I want to encourage you guys, most important, to always remember to dial down your volumes. Never just finish a song and hit publish. First of all, dial in some configuration, some audio effect, and we'll talk about them, like Super Studio. We'll talk about that more. But always dial down volume. The novice singers, you can identify them because their audio is always really loud, and they're always, when they join you, you can't hear yourself. They blow you away, and it's not professional and sounding, and it's slightly insulting actually in a way, even though they don't mean it. So don't go with the 0. People think, well, it's 0. I'm not going up or down. I'll be safe. Don't think of it that way. 0 is way too loud. All right. So I routinely dial down to -8 or -10, -7.5. Sometimes, rarely as high as like -4.5 or something. But usually I live down in the -8 to -12 range, based on different effects. All right. So studio is good, but it's a little bit muddy. A more refined version, and it's okay for specific songs, like older songs where they didn't quite have the proper engineering at the time. But the more refined version is Super Studio. And that allows you to actually dial in the reverb, which is the top bar, and this room effect, the R and the R, okay? The room effect is, or the room size, they used to call it room effect. So the reverb is kind of like the resonance of your voice, if you will. Kind of like the, And then the room size is kind of like the echo in the room. Like, how big is the room? Is it an arena? And that's like a really high room size, like 70s or something. Is it, is it an opera house, like 50? Or is it something more intimate, like a love song that's, like down in the, from 2 to 20, okay? So remember, when you're doing something very intimate, dial it way down, that room size. People don't know that. You could dial it down to 2 to 10, the room size, but it's okay to keep the reverb up near in the 30s. So, hey, people say, well, what's a great place to start? Where do I start? Great question, the perfect question. Well, yeah, and at the risk of, I'm not committing one way or another, but just to help you, like if you're a beginner, Super Studio is a great way to start. It's very powerful. There's so many combinations and stuff of reverb and room size, but I think a good place to start is in the 30s. Maybe a reverb of 30 in the 30s or a room size of 30s. Listen and then dial it either of them up or down until you find the right match for that song and your voice. How about Polish? A lot of people talk about Polish. I think it's overrated. I think there's nothing. Polish is just one tiny step up. It's like a half note up, if you will, from none. Polish is okay for maybe rap, sometimes for rap, and again, maybe possibly competitions where they don't allow you to use the better, whatever, the Super Studio and stuff like that. Hype is a great one I like for rock, okay? But it's overused. It's used by like a lot of the novices. Just any rock song, they just dial in hype and they don't dial down the volume. Remember to dial down the volume. What's a good range for the hype setting itself? It could be anywhere between like 44 or maybe down to 40 possibly, up to like 65. But over that, it sounds a little bit corny, except in rare situations. And then remember, again, for hype especially, and Super Studio and all of these, dial down your volume. Like hype, you got to dial it down to -10 to -12. So when I put volume hyphen 10, it's not a hyphen, it's a minus. So I'll often do that. I'll suggest the settings. I'll say recommended settings or suggested settings or guidance. And that's to help guide you guys sometimes if you want to sound a little bit better. And of course, you want to match the person you're singing with. I spent a lot of time on this stuff. I'm doing this for 3 years, and I create, believe it or not, spreadsheets. Yeah, I have all the songs I've ever done and the configurations I've done and dialed in. Took a lot of time comparing all these effects and finding the best one, and I save it on a spreadsheet so that next time I can dial it in quickly, so I don't have to spend 5 minutes finding the right one. I'm going to do a second video because I'm running out of time. 30 seconds left in this 10-minute video. Part 2 of 2 will be next, okay? We're going to talk about super pop. We're going to talk about Super Studio in detail. It's important. We're going to talk about indie, SF opera, spotlight, double, stardust, and grunge, and some other important points. So this was 1 of 2. We're going to go to 2 of 2 next. Audio effects, Limpsync tips and tricks tutorials. Thanks for stopping by. Any questions? Hit me up on public.